Okay.
Yeah, live.
Cool. Oh. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Blind Anglers Live Q&A and rig building. I thought I'd do a little video just to show people how I make the rigs, and doing it live just in case anybody has any questions about how I make the rigs, and also well, any questions in general, really. So yeah, we'll just give a bit of time for people to come on and have a chat, and let's get some bits and pieces here sorted out. Get the tools ready. So the tools that I'm going to use tonight are a pair of snips, third away pair of pliers, which is always in my tackle box, and a pair of scissors as well. So just let's make sure we're close here. Yeah, all good. Right, let's give a bit of time. I'm hoping that the computer will read to me who comes on line. That'd be quite cool and interesting. Yeah. Yeah, might as well test it whilst we're waiting, babe. If you guys hear voices in the background, it's my wife just relaying any messages to me. So.
No, it doesn't relay to you.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
Do I need to be selected on it?
Yeah, you probably do need to be selected on it, but you won't be able to.
No?
No.
What about if I tab?
Try it.
Find the keyboard first.
More options heading level 2 button. To activate, press that. Learn more link. Comment actions button. To activate, press enter. Enter. List box.
Go on, try now, Jen. Oh. Who says hello? Evening, Craig. How are you? Hope you're doing well, my friend. I'm just giving it a bit of time for some people to join in and whatnot. I think it's about 5:28, isn't it? 4 minutes to 8?
No, it's 1 minute past 8.
Oh, it's 1 minute past 8. Fair enough. So yeah, tonight I'm going to make a couple of rigs up, and guys, please just ask me any questions you want to ask, whether it's about my eyes or my life or fishing, what I use, what rigs I use, where I go, what I do, etc. Ask away, and I've got my my PA standing by, ready to relay any questions to me, and I'll answer them live for you. So she's coming over.
Yeah, Matt said the light's a bit bright.
Is that better?
No, they won't be able to see you. That might be a bit better.
Is that better, guys?
I'll turn it off. I can't see it. It looks better on the screen.
Looks better? Yeah? Cool. So, Jen, if any comments come up, you just relay them as I go and just interrupt me. Yeah, so first of all, I thought the rig I would start with is the 2-hook flapper that you would have seen me use in the last couple of videos, and how I go about making that. And shock leader, I use greasy wheel, or I usually get shock leader like this, to be fair, from places like Traeger Mills and stuff, because it's usually quite cheap, and I find it to be really, really strong, actually. You know, so any shock leader really, but this one is £50, and let me get some bits and pieces here. So first thing I do is tie on a weight clip. Now I like to make sure that I've got everything organized down in my my workshop. I have a little system down there where I know where everything is put away, and I can just go to it every time. And I was going to do a video down there where you could see what I was doing. It is absolutely freezing, so I thought better of it, to be fair. So yeah, whilst the shock lead is still on the reel, that's when I tie the weight clip on first of all. And again, the knot I like to do is where you just thread it through, put your finger in the middle, and then wrap the tag end around the main line 6 times. Okay, and then thread that tag end through the loop that your finger is making. Grab it with your teeth, and I'll give it a little pull to when it forms like this. And now this is where I would add a bit of like saliva to cool the knot down as it forms, and then give it a pull. Where is my scissors? I like to put my scissors inside the. Oops. I like to put my scissors inside the weight clip as I give it a pull, and then just let it form like so. Put scissors out. Just make sure that's squashed, which it is. And there it is. That is a nice tidy little knot. Straight away. Get the old snips. Snip off the tag end, keep everything nice and tidy. Job done. And then really it all depends on personal preference, how long you want your rig to be. You know, if you're going to make a 3-hook flapper, then you're going to want to go longer, especially, and again, for a 4 and a 5. So I usually will go about there, and then give it a little cut. And I always go a little bit further than I want the rig body to be, because you have to form the knot on the other side as well. So there we are. Then what I do is get a bead. Now there's a few beads. You will have the normal beads like so, and then you'll have the little rig beads, which I'll show you in a minute. But for the bottom one, I use a big bead. I don't use one of those tiny little rig beads, because all you're doing is protecting and holding your swivel here against this knot. If you were going to have it, say, up here, away from the knot, then you would need to put a crimp on first, and then a rig bead, and then the swivel. But this is how I like to do it, because to be fair, it saves on tackle, and I've never had any problems fishing with it this way. So yeah, so main bead on first of all, followed by a swivel. Grab a swivel here. Let's just move that out of the way. Any comments, Jen? Thank you. And then just thread the swivel on. To be fair, it doesn't really matter on the size of the swivel, as long as when you put your rig bead on, which I'm going to do now, it doesn't go through. Where are you? There we are. There we go. Okay, so that's with rig bead. You can see the size difference there. So you need to make sure that the swivel hole, the gape of the swivel, doesn't go over the size of this tiny little bead, which some of them will do. So I like to keep my swivels nice and small. And then it's just a case of just rotating the swivel around. Rotating the bead around until you find the hole. There it is. You can just slide it on. And that's why I like to use mono, because when you're stabbing it, it just stays. Whereas if that was braid, it would just flop and bend, and it would stay bent. It wouldn't come back up, and you wouldn't be able to keep stabbing away. And there, so far, we've threaded on the big bead, swivel, and the rig bead. And you can see the difference there in the size of the beads. Then you want to get a crimp. Now, when you get your crimps, people, I'll get one out with my nails. I haven't got any nails. when you get your crimps, you need to make sure that the thickness of the shock leader and the diameter of the gape of the crimp is matching, so you can actually slide your crimp on. Otherwise the crimp will be too small and you would never get it on, and you won't be able to make your rigs unless you've got some smaller shock leader. And then you literally just thread that crimp all the way down. Then what I like to do is get another crimp. That isn't a crimp, by the way, that is a get another crimp. Thread that one on. I find crimps the easiest things to thread on, to be fair. There we go. And then it's a case of doing exactly what you've done here already, but the other way around. So you've got your crimp, then a small bead, swivel, big bead. That's how I do it. So next thing will be, again, a rig bead. There we go. Thread on the rig bead. There he goes. Swivel. We use quite small swivels here. Like so. And then a big bead. If I can find it. Trying to keep everything together and you're sitting on top of each other. There we go. Oh, that one went in quite quickly. I do. And that is basically what I do there. Then I pick a swivel that I want to be used to go to my main line, which I might. What's the question? Yeah.
As you're blind, what's the scariest fish you've caught, or the fish you don't want to catch due to fear of being spiked or bit?
Scariest fish I've caught. I don't like catching congers. I mean, I want to catch a big conger. I don't like catching them because I don't want to get bit, and I have seen someone get bit by them. Scariest fish I've caught. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. The one I worry about catching is either a thornback ray because of the thorns, and if I've got to sort it out on my own, I'll probably put my hand right down and not know where it is. So maybe a thornback ray. God, that's a good question actually. Do you know what the thing is? I want to catch them all. I don't want to catch a weaver, and I'm not too keen on wrasse, if I'm honest. But yeah, probably the one fish I don't want to catch is like fish like weaver fish with the spikes and so on. But I'll happily catch everything else, I reckon. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think I'm scared of catching any fish. Yeah, I might worry about catching a tuna if I'm out in the kayak. That might be a bit. No, I'm not scared of catching any fish, to be fair. I just wouldn't want to catch a weaver. And I think with the other fish, like thornback ray, I want to catch blue shark, poor bugle shark, taupe, smoothhound. I want to catch all of these. I want to get out and catch them. Conger eel, I want to catch a big conger eel. So I think it's just one where you have to pay a lot of respect to the animal, and treat that with respect, and hopefully I won't get damaged in the unhooking. But when I do go after these fish, Matt will be there with me, so you could do the unhooking for me, Matt. I'll just stand by. Right, so my mainline swivel. That's a good question, actually. My mainline swivel is a bigger one, and I like to do this because if I use too small a swivel, it will sometimes when I'm fishing. I'm pretty good at judging when my rig's at the top of my rod. On the odd occasion, I'll misjudge it and it'll just nip in the top eye. So the bigger the swivel will stop that. And again, the knot that I use is the same as I do with all of them, which is just pivot it through, finger in the middle, 6 times around. And then back through. Oh, I've left myself a little tag in there. Back through the loop, grab it with the teeth, give it a pull, and then get a sliver. Give it a pull. Now, I don't have it with me, unfortunately, but what I usually have is a screwdriver. And the reason I have that is I will put the screwdriver through this eye here, and I will also either clip a weight on here or put a screwdriver in there. And then when I form the knot, I pull on both of them to pull the knots taut and into shape. And the reason for that is if you hold it like I am here, just usually wrap it around and pull it taut, what you'll find is your hand heats it up. And the line will get a little kink. You can see that there actually. I can't see it, but I can feel that kink. And I don't like it, if I'm honest with you. So yeah, so we've tied on the swivel, we've tied on the weight clip, and in the middle we've got the beads and the swivels and the crimps all running free. And then what I do is get my pair of pliers, find the crimps wherever they are, put them down there, and I literally will have that sitting on the knot there, like so. You guys can see that. Now with these crimps, hold them in the jaws of the pliers, hold them down the far end, so you get as much of it as you can, and then pull the line tight so it's right up. And then what you want to do is you want to squash it. You don't want to squeeze it into the shock leader to squash it. No, you just feed it to squash. The reason you want to do that is if you squeeze it into the shock leader, it can weaken the shock leader. So I just squash it flat, and then that's not going anywhere. And then you literally just do exactly the same thing up here. Go to shock leader, just so it's right up against the knot, and just squash it. Like so. Right, then that's the rig body made. And I like to do it like this because I can then have a nice long hook trace if I so wish, depending on where I'm fishing. If it's like clean ground and stuff, I like to have a long trace. And if it's a bit rough, then you can shorten it down. And also if you lose hooks, or if you want to change hook sizes, then when you're snipping away at your hook trace, you know, you're not going to end up with something really small. All right, let's get amnesia. Right, so I've got some amnesia, and I've forgotten where I put it. Yeah, it's in there. Which one have I got here? Right, so I've got clear 20 pound amnesia here, and the reason I know it's 20 pound and that is clear is because it's got a rubber band on it. And I do have two others, one which is 30 pound clear, and the other one which is like a greeny reddy colour, which is 30 pounds. And the difference when I'm making up my rigs, the way I tell is 20 pound clear rubber band, 30 pound clear still in its case, and the 30 pound red one has got a hair bubble around it instead. So that's how I tell which line I'm putting on at any given time. So if I'm going to the Bristol Channel, I'll use the red line, 30 pound, because it just doesn't make any difference. It's so dirty, the water there. Whereas if I'm fishing clear waters, then I'll let's use my clear amnesia, and depending on where I'm going, excuse me, sorry, then, you know, if I'm fishing light, like for this rig, I would use this for flounder, whiting, that kind of thing. £20 fine. If I was going for something a bit more substantial, then I would hook it up with the £30 clear. So what we do, get the amnesia. I'm going to do the bottom hook first. Thread him on. It's all done by feel. Bear with me, guys. Just going to quick sit. Okay, got a bit of a dry throat because the excuse me, the heating's on because of how cold it is. Right, again, same knot, put it through 6 twists. You could do 5 if you wanted to. Back through the hoop, where your finger is. Grab it, give it a pull. Warm that up. Always check it. But that is, I love this knot because it's such a small little knot. Then instead of using scissors, I like to use snips. Get down nice and close. And then, excuse me, bring it down. So what I do is I run the fingers and the thumb and run the line down together. And I'll run it down just before I get to the other one. So probably bum's length away from the other swivel and snip it off. Because what I don't want to do when I'm casting is catch the line, because then it just will hamper the way you're fishing. Right, so that's that one. Same again. Get some amnesia on. Tiny little spools. Make sure I've got a nice amount there. And a swivel. There she goes. There. And again. Let's do that knot. Jump that one. Straight through. Pretty tight. You okay, babe? You alright? Mm-hmm. Okay. Job done. Get the snips. Zip it. And then, again, just run your fingers down. Firm length from the other one. Snip him off. Right. Right, I'm going to have a bigger drink, I think. Don't know what that was. Don't know what that was.
Might have been your amnesia.
Maybe, yeah. Okay. So, now we just tie on some hooks. And I'll show you how to do this. Which is exactly the same way. But with hooks, you just have to be a bit more careful. So these are size 1/0 Aberdeen. I like this. I use these for catching schoolie bass with Zach. We used them at the beginning of the year. Zach, we had a £1.10 flounder on it, and we've had plenty of whiting as well. And they seem to be fine, absolutely fine for that. If I was going for bigger bass, ray, cod, obviously I would then change it up to what
Richard Hoy said, "What? No fish juggling tonight?"
I can get some out of the freezer. I can go and get some out of the freezer if you like. No, not tonight. Maybe maybe Thursday. It all depends on weather at the moment. Because if I go out Thursday, then I need to make sure that it's not going to be too cold for the children and Jen. If we don't get out Thursday, then the weekend or early part of next week, Matt and I have had a little chat, and we would like to get out. We're going to go out with the boys and let them do some macro fishing. Matt and I want to do a little bit of macro fishing as well to fill up the freezer. And then, yeah, Matt and I hopefully might go after some flounder and bass, possibly. That's what we've spoken about. But yeah, it all depends on what's going on the weather at the moment, because today it hasn't snowed a lot down here in Plymouth, but we have had flurries of it, and I think they predicted quite a bit for Thursday and Friday, but we'll have to wait and see. But glad you like the fish juggling, to be fair. Yeah, that was crazy that night. I can't believe 3 of them went in the boot, just straight into the boot. If you haven't seen that video, it was the first live I ever done on YouTube, which was Wednesday night. Check it out. Like the beginning part of it of the video was a bit slow, where I'm just getting set up and so on. But yeah, when the fish come on, so does the fun. Dear oh dear. Right, hooks. Yeah, so same hook, same again. But what I like to do is make sure that my finger all the way around here is taut here, so it kind of holds that hook like that away for the first part, and then I hold the hook here in the bend of my finger and thumb, kind of just sits in there nicely. Actually, and that I haven't got enough line, so it's a little bit more through. Right? 1, 2, 6 times round. Okay, then I take the tag end back through this loop. There we go. Hold it. Good hook. And then I like to position the hook there on my thumbnail, so I know that point is there, away from me. Hold it tight. Oh. And then just put it right through, so you don't tie it on at all. No idea what I've done wrong then. Let's do that again. Maybe I'll just do 5 on that one. Put that 3. What are you eating, Jen? I'll tell you what I used to do before I used to do this, is I used to actually get either a pair of scissors and hook it like that, or I used to use a weight and pull it. But scissors and a weight, they can slip out of your hand, whereas your thumb is your hand, so you've got more control actually holding on to the hook itself. Now, because when I flounder fish, I use worm baits, whereas if I was whiting fishing, I would use more of a fish bait. So what I like to do when I do any hooks, I like to use.
When you're going to sell t-shirts and hoodies with your logo on them, they look quite good. Oh,
thank you, mate. I have thought about it actually, because I'll just quickly show you. I do have. I might do this the wrong way around, guys. Oh god. Can you? Is that the right way around, Jen?
Just rotate it towards the screen.
All right.
Put it towards the screen. Show them.
Right. So this here is my logo. This is.
Rotate it to the left. That's it.
Right. So this is my logo. Now I had this image in my head for quite a few years. I have dreamt about doing being a fishing presenter and having my own fishing TV channel since I was a kid. To the point when I started working, I actually bought an old-fashioned video camera, one of those proper ones that was, I've still got it up in the loft actually. It's one of those ones you put an actual cassette in the back and it sits right across your shoulder. It's huge. Didn't make any fishing videos though.
You said put a blindfold on the fish, by the way.
Yeah. See, now this is this design here. Now this is what I dreamt of having. This is Roddy the Coddy, and I told my wife and Flick, which is my cameraman Matt's wife, about what I wanted. They put their heads together and they actually came up with what I was looking for. This is Roddy the Coddy with his fishing rod and his white stick. So blindfold's not a bad shout actually. But yeah, those are. So I've got some blind angler stickers, and first I have a blind angler baseball cap, which yeah, if anybody does want one, then send me a PM and I will talk to the lady that made this, because it's embroidered on there, so it will last instead of the laser. Yeah, so love that. What I was doing then was just checking to make sure I picked up the right baseball cap. That is Roddy the Coddy on there, isn't it? Yeah. So
Instead of dark sunglasses.
or dark.
Problem is, they don't use a blindfold with dark sunglasses, so there's no point.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I used to use sunglasses a lot. I probably will. I'm waiting on another bit of eye surgery, which won't make any difference to what I see. It just may give me back a little bit of clarity. I've got this like film that's gone across my eye, which has made what I see blurrier, if it could ever become blurrier. But yeah, so waiting for that. But thanks for that, mate. Yeah, if anybody's ever interested, then give me a shout and we can sort something out for sure. So with the hooks, yeah, I like to get that tag end gone completely. So I will hold it there, get the snips, I put them up here, and then run them down to the knot, and then right against the knot. And the reason for that is, especially when I'm fishing with lugworm, is this can be sharp. When you cut it, this is sharp. And if you have a tiny little tag and you try pushing a worm over it, one, it will stop it. And then two, once you do force it up and over, it will just cut the worm up and you will just lose all the juices. Whereas if you get that, I mean, I can't feel that there now. So if I put a lugworm on there, that would just slide all the way up here. So yeah, and experienced anglers, you guys will know that obviously, but anybody that's new. But yeah, you just got to feel. Take your time. I like to hold it in my mouth and then just slide the snips down to the knot. You feel it touch, and then you just think, gone. As you can see, this hook sits a nice distance away from this now. So remember, I cut it thumb's length away, and then you do the knot. So you always give yourself that little bit extra for the knot. As if I hadn't, my hook would be up here. Whereas now, if I'm fishing, I'm like, cool. I mean, down here in Plymouth at the moment, we're getting some big white in like 2-pounders and plus. Whereas now I can be like, okay, the one hook isn't big enough. We can change it up to a 2 or 3 hook, and I'm not really going to lose any rig body. But what we are going to lose is the other hook. There it is. No, it's not. It's the one I've just tied on. Right, so we're a hook. We're missing a hook. That's fine. Right. There he is. Okay. Same again. Let's just tie this one on. So bring it through. It's going to be 6 twists on that one. You see just how I hold that hook there in the hand? Just control. Always put a bit of moisture on the knot, cool it down. it's kind of weird talking you through it as I'm doing it, because it does become second nature. You kind of do it without thinking. You have to stop and think, oh, this will be a bit difficult. Actually, I've got no tag into it, so just push it right up. That lines in there. Push it right up. Chop them. And again. Nice. And that is how I do 2 hook flappers. Nice and easy. Does not take very long to do. And then both hooks, come here you. Both hooks sit away from each other, so they won't catch when you're casting. Because when you think when you cast, this one would be up here somewhere in the force of the cast. So that is a 2 hook flapper. Now, if you're going to do a 3 hook flapper, in between these two, what you would do is put on. So on here, you would have put on another crimp, another rig bead, another swivel, another rig bead, another crimp, and then you will literally just put that wherever you would normally put it, which when I make my 3 hook flappers, I put them bang in the middle. So I would actually do the first 2 like I have done, then I would hold it in, like hold it in half, pull it up to here, crimp it, job done for your 3rd hook. So but yeah, that is my 2 hook flapper, which, to be fair, has done quite a lot of damage over the last couple of months since I've started using it. I only started using a 2 hook flapper October, November. I always liked using pulley panels. Loved using pulley panels, still do, don't get me wrong, still do. But we went and done a fishing trip at B-Sands Met and I overnight, and I thought, well, if I've got one out all night on a host squid bait out at distance pulley panel, then fishing short, pick up a bass, pick up a dab or whatever else might be in close. And I tell you now, this 2 hook flapper outfished the pulley panel something like 6-1 on the night. I think I had something like 3 dogfish on the pulley panel, and on the 2 hook flapper we had dogfish, we had eel, we had bass, we had whitings. So absolutely brilliant.
Richard Hoy said, "Thank God this is muscle memory for you. It would be a nightmare for a novice with eyesight problems."
It would. Absolutely. I agree with that. It would. I think for a novice with eyesight problems, because this actual video is being linked to the RNIB, because I do a bit of voluntary work with the RNIB, and try and get more blind people into doing more things with sports and photography and whatnot. And I spoke to them today, and we're going to share this with them. And yeah, I with it would literally just be patience, and it would be practice makes perfect. And just it literally would just be take your time, don't rush it, and you could make the rigs just literally. I mean, it would take a little while to make one rig, but at least you've made it, and then the sense of achievement that you get is brilliant. I'm just going to put that rig there, Jen, so I don't come over because there's a hook on it. Yeah, so I mean, I'm enjoying doing it. I'm teaching Zachary as we go. Zach's got his own 2 hook flapper rigs and his own rig wallet, which are his, and we know the difference because his has got orange beads. So I mean, I can't see the colors of the beads, so if I put on one of his, it's like, Daddy, that one's got orange beads, that one's mine. He's quick to tell me off. But yeah, patience, and with going out fishing, whether you're disabled or able-bodied, I would say preparation is key. And I do like that saying, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. I think if you go fishing, yes, you can go fishing and you make a rig up on the beach, cast out and catch plenty of fish for sure. But I think if you're going out for a day's fishing, a special mark, then be ready to go when you get there. So like when we go Bristol Channel, Chesil, I'm ready, my box is organized, ready to rock and roll. And when I get there, I'm fishing quickly. My reels are at the top of the box. rod comes out, rod's together, reels on it, put the line up, clip on the weight, tighten the rig, and you're fishing. So yeah, for anybody that's new, make sure you prepare before you go, and give yourself a couple of days to make your rigs up. You know, do 1-2 rigs a day, just get some. Just, but at least that way you can take your time. If you try and do it in the morning and you're going in the afternoon, you're going to rush them, you're going to make mistakes, and you could end up damaging yourself. To be fair, so patience, planning. It's a good point actually. Just wonder something. Just have a little. Jen, could you have a look in here? Right. 2 seconds, guys. Just have a little bit.
That's a clear clarity.
So this is my amnesia, which is the clear 30, because it's in the case, which is what I was looking for earlier. Now, what did you do in this box for me? I did have. I think I might have taken it out because I washed my. Taken it out. I don't know where I put it. I talking about preparation. I washed my fishing rod. I've got the rod back here somewhere.
Put it down on the floor right away.
You pass it to me, please. Just thinking about what Richard said. Now, the next rig I was going to show you guys is how I make a putty pano. How many's watching, Jen? Does anybody want to see?
One of them being me.
Okay. Does anybody want to see me make a putty pano rig? And does anybody want to see me make a putty pano rig blindfolded?
I bet you do that another day.
I've got a blindfold right here. Just give people a couple of minutes to see if they want to see me make a putty pano rig blindfolded. It'd be interesting. Silence.
Nothing come up yet.
I know. Does anything come up on my screen?
I know that you've got like the settings clicked up.
No, I'm not touching it.
No, don't touch it.
I'm not touching it. I don't know if there's a bit of delay in the. Just because the other day I was talking to another chap called Richard. He sent me a message saying that there was a delay in the comments coming up. So I kind of put that down to your computer lagging, but it could have been where we were.
It was running off my phone.
Right, okay, fair enough. Yeah, so this year, I mean, hopefully Matt and I are getting some nice fish, and hopefully that'll start this weekend when we go after flounder.
Chopped chips and a captain. Richard always said there's no delay tonight. So
Okay.
no, nobody wants to see you doing some blindfolded rig.
Okay. Evening, Kelvin. I know who chopped chips is. It's
Kelvin.
It's Kelvin. I know it, right. So Kelvin is a long-term family friend. Do you know what? I mean, I've known Kelvin since I was a teenager when we used to go bike riding together. We used to have a really nice Cannondale red. I'm just waiting for a comment from Kelvin saying about me catching seagulls. I have caught a couple of seagulls. They've all gone back, but this year there's one mark that Matt and I tried 4 times, I believe. Well, this year, 2020, we tried this one mark 4 times. Lure fishing for bass. We caught no bass, and on the first time I went, a seagull picked up my lure and dropped it. The second time, Matt caught a seagull. The third time, I caught a seagull. And then I think Matt went with Corey, and then a seagull picked up the bait and dropped it. So yeah, I don't think we'll be going back there in anytime soon, because it seems like all you catch is seagulls. We were told it was a very good bass mark for lure fishing with soft plastics and shallow diving plugs and so on. So we went and gave it a go. We'd probably give it another go, but every time we went, it was a clear sunny day. There was no chop to the water, which was, and it's a bit of a drive for us. It's about 20-minute, half-hour drive. Is it? Or is it a bit longer?
Where?
To that mark up near Pennington.
About an hour.
Is it about an hour? Okay, scrap that. It's about an hour drive.
Rich always said, make whatever rigs you want. Personally happy with the chat though.
Keep it coming. Keep the chat coming, mate. Yeah, we went there. We will go again, but we want to go there when there's a bit more bounce. Now, right, next time we go, I will have a life jacket. I did order one quite early on in the year. Early on in the year, around about August. When I say early on in the year, because of lockdown, it kind of stopped everything, didn't it? But yeah, I ordered one about August, September time. And we're just waiting for it to come in. It's coming from China, so it's taking ages. But you know, I'm getting it from Ben down at the Art of Fishing, and he's a really good shop. And he helps me out a great deal. What? Chop chip?
Yeah. Damn, caught already.
I know you, Kelvin. I know what you're up to. I know why you're here. But to be fair, Kelvin, Matt has caught just as many seagulls as I have. So there's two Captain Bird's eyes, as he likes to call me. So yeah, and Kelvin, right? So Kelvin's a long-term family friend, really good friend, and for all those people that have seen Wheeler Dealers, you've got the Dale Boy type guy. I don't know what his name is, but his mechanic Ed, who can literally fix anything. Kelvin's our Ed. We've got off-road motorbikes. We go out on an off-road motorbike. Any problems, Kelvin's there with a garage, which is like a treasure chest when it comes to tools and stuff. So he fixes all the bikes up, and he actually has my baby right now, which is my very special fishing reel, which fell out of the car, broke, and Kelvin's very kindly fixing it for me. So hopefully it won't be too long before I get that bad boy back, and I can.
Matt said seagulls are good eating.
I do. So later on in the year, we'll be doing a catch and cook, which will be hosted by Matt. He's going to catch a seagull and show you how to prep it. I think I'll pass. Oh, the problem is being blind. You don't know what's going in your mouth sometimes. I've been out on work days, and they'll be like, "Oh, Wayne, try this piece of tomato or something," and they shove it in my mouth, and it isn't. It's like a wedge of lemon. And they've also done it to me when we've gone and they'll be like, "Oh, dessert. I'll try this chocolate cake," and a spoonful of like barbecue sauce or spicy mayonnaise straight in my mouth. You know, like, oh.
Our favourites. Right.
Yeah, I don't like sprouts. Jen does, and she'll hide them on my plate, and I can't see it. So you're eating away, and then sprout goes in, and it's like, whoa. She loves me, apparently. Actually, I'll tell you a quick funny story. Actually, so our bathroom is above our kitchen. Yeah, you know what's coming. I think, what was it? This was like the beginning of the year, wasn't it? 2020. So this is last year, literally around about this time last year. So I have a shower, and the next thing I know, Jen comes running up, and she switched the shower off, and I was like, "What's the matter?" She was like, "Can you not feel it? All the water was around my feet, because we've got a wet room. There's a wet room when we moved in, and the water drain that takes shower water away was blocked or something, and it was actually, the water was dripping down through the wall or down the ceiling into the bathroom, and we had to get a plumber out, and we had to get an electrician out because it was right above our alarm for not smoke alarm. What's the other one? Carbon dioxide. So we had to get that all fixed and so on. And then so that was a complete waste of the day. And then the next day, I had a shower, went downstairs, walked into the bathroom. Walked into the kitchen afterwards. I thought, just you know, I knew everything was fixed, but I just wanted to check it. Just put my hand up on the ceiling. Didn't know what I was looking for because I can't see. Just wanted to see if it was wet, I guess. So I'm feeling it, and I got wet. So I'm like, oh. So I carried on feeling it, and I carried on getting wet. So I started shouting for Jen, like thinking, oh, here we go again. So I'm shouting for her. She's not coming out. And I'm like, a couple of minutes have passed. I'm still shouting for her. And Zach, our 6-year-old son, coming in. And I'm Zach, go and get mum. Go and get mum, quick. He just stood there. I'm like, can you just go and get mum, please? And he's like, started giggling. She was already in the kitchen. She had her hand in the sink, splashing water at me. And because I couldn't see it, and I don't know how you stay so quiet, but she was just blink like that. And I was getting wet, thinking it was a ceiling. So we have fun with the blindness, don't we? We have fun with the blindness. So we all have fun with it. We all have fun. Me, family, Kelvin, Matt. You know, we all have a. We actually, to be fair.
No flick, no, she knows you like a chicken if you tell you there's a step.
Oh yeah, and because I can't see curbs and stuff, they say step, and like obviously I lift my foot because I think I'm going up a step, and they tell me when there isn't one, just so I start like walking like a chicken down the street, and people are like, God, there's something wrong with him. This has gone off the fishing topic.
Kelvin said nice one, Jen.
Right, we need to bar Kelvin. No, we can't actually. Kelvin's got my reel.
Yeah.
Fine, I'm getting divorced.
Off you trot.
So.
Like a chicken down the street.
Yeah. Well, I ain't going anywhere. I can't go. I can't see where I'm going. Dear, oh dear. Yeah, actually, no. We'll carry on talking, and I'll make up a Palipano. Now, this is my favourite shock leader, to be fair, because I can put my hand through it when I'm pulling the line off. I just find this a lot more easy, and I think it stays neater as well. To be fair, it's not like the rest of the stuff it just comes flying off.
Your brother sending you into the ditch at Bikers Rest.
Yes, that happens quite a lot. So down here, so the off-road motorbikes that we've got are trial bikes. So there's no seat on them. You stand up. It's more about getting from A to B rather than racing. It's more technical riding. And yeah, Dad and my brother Stefan, Kelvin, not so much Kelvin, but yeah, they would be like, oh, Wayne, go this way. And I'd be like trusting them, and there'd be like a complete drop. I ended up in the river once. Actually got that on video. Got a lot of my crashes on video. There's a lot of crashes actually on video. Yeah, good fun actually. But that you just take your time, slowly trying to find your way. You walk it, get on the bike, try to ride it. So, but we actually fished the Isle of Wight going back a few years now. Well, probably about 16 years ago now. And my eyesight 16 years ago was better, but not at night. Once you got night blindness, it's just like someone switched the lights off. And we fished this place on top of a cliff, but there was like steps, big steps that went up it as well. And my dad went, don't go near the edge, because if you fall off, you're dead, because there's a 100-foot drop. And yeah, we were fishing. Darkness came, and I didn't know where we had set up. And yeah, I went too close to the edge and fell off a step, which was probably about 2 foot high. But when I fell, I screamed like a little girl because I thought I was going all the way down, and my dad was just sat there laughing. So yeah, I still have nightmares about that. But what's funny is, as my mum and dad have got older, my mum comes out more with my dad, where it used to be like being a little lad. We used to go out fishing. It just used to be me and my dad, me and my Uncle John, me and my Uncle Phil. We just used to go fishing. Whereas lately, my mum wants to come and spend more time with dad, which is nice. But when we go spinning on rocks, it's a nightmare, because she's worried about me. She's like, oh, David, is he all right? Is he all right down there? Should he be down there? And I'm like, Mum, get in. Trying to fish. Like, we've got all that experience of fishing on rocks, and yeah, Mum really does worry about my eyes. But when we go for a walk down the woods for like a family walk, walking the dogs, I get more injuries walking with my mum than I do anybody else. Don't know. Don't know. She'll be like, she panics. She panics. I'll be walking. I think, oh, there's a log down there on the left hand side. My mum has seen a log down there on the left hand side, panicked, and she'd be like, branch, right, and then I look up, looking for this branch, and trip over the log that I've already seen. Oh dear. Right, need more. With shock leader, you definitely need a bit more of a tag end when you're doing a knot. Just because depending on the thickness, it can eat quite a lot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I had too little, now I've got too much, but it's okay. We'll make it work. Right. Normal knot. I much prefer using a screwdriver than scissors because.
Screwdriver?
Yeah, just to form the knot. There it goes. Can't see it, but you will feel it form. Just give it a little squash down just to help it on its way, just to make sure it's locked in place. Extra. Yeah, that's fine. Scissors on this one. Oh, okay, shock leader, right? What else? And then pulley side. I like to make pulley rigs different sizes. I like to have short ones and I like to have long ones. And I think that will be a nice length. Actually. Because I think if you're going to fish with a shock leader, I think if you're going to fish with a pulley rig, then and that's all you're going to fish with, and say you're targeting one specific fish like smooth handle bass. It depends on how they're feeding to whether the long rig's going to work over the short rig, and I've always thought that. Now on YouTube, there's a From the Water's Edge. I like to watch those boys, and they actually, going back quite a few years now, they went on a beach with one of their mates, and they were fishing for smoothhound, and they didn't catch any smoothhound, but they caught a hell of a lot of bass. And the guy that was catching all the bass had a smaller pulley panel rig than what Chris did from the Water's Edge, and he caught a lot. And he did actually say in it, I think it could be down to the fact that my rig is smaller, and that's exactly how I always did it. So smoothhound this year. Definitely want to catch a smoothhound this year. Okay, right. I need to get myself
Richard Boy, has the missus ever given you a really bad haircut?
Who have you been talking to, Richard?
I saw that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. On three, your face, the screen, and my screen.
Yeah, she has. To be fair,
I've got better.
she's got better. She has got better. And
I'd never make a hairdresser or a barber though.
no, she's a senior nail tech, so she knows a little bit about beauty, well, quite a lot actually. But yeah, she cut my hair going back a few years, and I looked like a monk. Proper basin haircut. Seriously, I remember that. That was horrible.
Didn't I shave your head after that?
And then she shaved it, and then she would do like a nice little bit, and then she would go back and correct it and nip a bit. So then she has to do a bit more.
I did a really good haircut, and then you shaved your beard and went all the way up past your ear.
No.
On your sideburn.
No.
Yeah.
No. Lately though, with this lockdown, well, this past year of lockdowns, the haircuts have got a lot better, and
Doesn't have to wear a hat all the time now.
No, I do miss my hairdressers though, if I'm honest, because they're good banter. Because they're ripping to Jen. To be fair, so
That's what mood they're on.
yeah. Yeah. No, she's giving
Kelvin
me.
said he's lost a bit of an ear before.
Well, she cut your hair as well. Is she, Kelvin? I didn't know you came around here for your haircut.
Oh, he's gonna come back with sort of smutty now, isn't he?
But yeah, no, she has indeed. So I'll tell you what. Actually, I've had one accident on my off-road motorbike. One accident, and I dislocated my leg. Wasn't my fault. We won't go into whose fault it was, but it wasn't my fault. And dislocated my leg. Kelvin, you were there on that day, actually.
He did push you, did he?
No. I'll tell you what. Somebody went on the bike. I can't remember if it was a friend or a relative. But the throttle casing came off, and they put it back on, but they didn't clip it in place. This is what I understand. So then they gave the bike to me, and I got on it, put the throttle back, and then when I closed the throttle, it didn't stop, and I just fell off. And I was around the corner away from my dad and Kelvin and everybody else. And I remember Kelvin saying, "Oh, I heard the kill switch go on his bike," and then they come up. Dad and Kelvin came up to check on me to make sure I was okay, and I was just laid next to the bike. And I remember Kelvin looking down, going, "Skid marks, sweet," like that. And I was still laid there. And then my dad's like, "Get up, Wayne." Just get up. And I got up and I fell back down again. And then, we stayed there for the day. And then got home. I fell out of the car because my leg had just seized up because it was about an hour and 20-minute drive. Went home, had a bath, thought, I've just pulled a muscle or a ligament or something, it'd be fine. And then the next day it was the same. And Jen's like, "Yeah, you need to go to the hospital." So I went to the hospital. They put me in a wheelchair, and she drove me. And they put my leg out in front of me, and they went, "Follow us." And she drove me straight into a wall. My leg, bang.
It was a pull wheelchair.
It doesn't matter what it was. You drove my bad leg, my dislocated
Tell me it was a
leg.
pulling wheelchair.
Still got, and I've got more problems with that leg now than I ever had before, because of Kelvin
said, "Ha ha ha! It was some Chinese trying to be a ninja and twitching instead of bucking."
He's talking about his hair.
Okay.
Right. So making a Pelipeno rig. I've tied on the weight clip. I've tied on. And then I've cut the line, the shot fluid size, and then you can either buy weights which have the impact shield kind of built into them. Shoot, I forgot what they're called now. Which I do have some, but I don't have any up here with me, so I'll have to show you on another video. Or you can buy these impact shields, which I describe as an umbrella, because you've got the handle type bit, and you've got the umbrella body, and then the spike at the top. And you also get some rubber tubing. Now, with this umbrella type impact shield, the spike bit, if you imagine an umbrella, the top bit has got a tiny little nick which holds this rubber tubing in place. So you need to cut a piece of rubber tubing that's going to fit in there. So it only needs to be tiny. You kind of pinch it with your fingers and then you snip it. It doesn't have to be very big at all. And then you thread it on the line. Just thread it straight on. Don't do anything with the impact shield. Just thread that rubber tubing straight down the line. Where is that rubber tubing? I don't use it. Let's put that where is it? I actually buy this all in bulk online because it works out to be cheaper. I've got about 100, 500 of these because you need them. Then you need to make sure that you put your impact shield on the right way around. So if you tie your weight clip on first, then you need to put this impact shield on so it looks like an upside down umbrella. And there's a slit in the umbrella body, there's a slit in the top, so make sure it goes through both. And the way you do that is just thread it up, and it should just go up really easily, but just to make sure you can just pull it off to the side, and you can see that it stops there. If it was through the handle, if you will, of the umbrella, it would come here. And just thread it straight down. Then you want to get one of those what are they? Rig beads. Now, I am all for supporting the local tackle shop. And down here in Plymouth, we've got some really good ones. And I where I live, Southwest Sea Baits, there's 2 minutes in the car, literally the next road across. So I'm all for supporting the local tackle shops, but it is cheaper online, if I'm honest. So you thread on the rig bead, and then again thread on a crimp, so hold that bad boy in place. I'm going to thread a crimp on, if you can find a crimp. Oh, that's a small. Any more? Like so. Right, then I go for another rig bead. There you go. I'll tell you why in a second. So another rig bead. Done. Followed by a normal size bead. Oh. Do you know what I worry about is when these beads go on so quick and easy that people might be like, Ian blind, how can you do that so fast? That one was just lucky, if I'm honest. Right, and then swivel. Now this is the swivel to the main line again. So I'm going to go for a bigger one. Thread in one. There he goes. And then another big bead. Okay, this one's not going to go so easy, is it? There he goes. And then I want to get myself a smaller swivel. And I'm going to tie that one on. I wonder if I've got a weight here. Give me 2 seconds. Any comments there? Okay. Right. Now, let's tie this one on. Make sure we've got enough line for the knot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Thread him through. Now, because that swivel is so small, I got something to help me somewhere. There it is. Got myself a grip weight. I'm just going to thread it onto the spike of the grip, just so I can hold it in place. Bit of spit, form the knot. Now, whenever I put anything like this close to my face, because of that spike, I can't see that at all. So whenever I go close to anything, I close my eyes. Which, to be fair, doesn't matter if you're blind or not. I think everybody should do that. A little bit more. What are you laughing at? Make sure that's formed. Yep, lovely jubbly. Snip that one off. Oh, that's too small, so I can just scissors that one. Okay, so we have tied on a weight clip, cut a piece of the rubber tubing, threaded on the impact shield, followed by a small rig bead, crimp, another small rig bead, big swivel, big bead, little swivel. And what we will do is, first of all, you need to get this rubber tubing now on the spike of the umbrella, if you will, or the bottom of the impact shield. Just push it on, just squash it, work it on. Usually goes on quite easy, there we are. And then what I like to do is push the line to the top of the handle, and then get the weight clip and just move it up as well, and then just give it a little squeeze. What you want to do is make sure that that shock lever runs straight across here, so then this slides when it hits the water, whereas sometimes this shock lever can be down here. So always just work it so it's up the top and all in line. Perfect. Right, pliers. Right.
So have you looked at the Trident rig making gear? I think it would make your life so much easier with your fishing, especially the fully panel rig. And I can always.
No, I haven't. Actually, I haven't. Can you make a note of that, actually? 'Cause I wouldn't mind having a look. Yeah, I'll have a look at that. Thank you, mate. No, I haven't, and I would be interested to to make it easier. To be fair, whatever makes my life easier, I'm all for. Yeah, 100%. Thank you.
Kelvin said next time he sees you, he's got a tool for that he's made for tying knots for rigs.
Oh, okay, cool. Hopefully, I will be seeing you very soon, Kelvin, with my my fishing reel. Right, so I have got my crimp again in the jaws of my pliers, and I want to set that just above. I want a little bit more room, just above the impact shield. Yeah, about there, which is about there. Just so it's got room to move up, and again, just squash it like so. And what that does is it stops. See, I can do that there now. That's better. So when you clip it down, this here stops the bead coming up, which then, as this forms, boom, you see the way that this here just runs, and obviously your hook's underneath that, and that's what kicks your hook out when you're fishing. Now the reason for this other little bead on this side is because these big beads will eat that crimp, so that there won't go through it. These beads have got bigger gapes, so that would just sit on top of that and jam, which is what you don't want. So that's why I do that. Then we go and have a little look for some amnesia. See, now down in my workshop, everything, there it is. Down in my workshop, everything is where it's meant to be.
Where's it then?
My fishing stuff is, my rig making stuff. Just because you've done a lot of decorating in the house and put a lot of junk in my workshop. Right. I dropped it. Okay.
Richard said all you need to do is tie a swivel to your hook lengths, pre-break them, home freeze them, then just change as needed at the beginning.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually, because that would, especially when the fish are on, especially. And I'll tell you what, actually, that's a good idea, because if you're using things like macro, for instance, it's hard to get on the hook when it's still like slightly frozen, or if it's like it was the other day where it's absolutely bitter cold and you can't feel your fingers, and you're trying to thread a hook. That's right, you're trying to thread macro onto a hook. That is a good shout. Thank you, Richard. I like that tip. Might have to try and make a bit more room in the freezer.
Not listening to you saying that.
I was going to say I might need a bit more room in the freezer. I'm allowed 2 drawers. 2 drawers is all I'm allowed in the freezer.
Actually, you're allowed 1 drawer, but you've taken the other drawer.
Right. Yeah. So now I'm tying on clear £30 amnesia. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Through the hole. Form the knot. Go there. Bit of moisture. Put it. Drop that. Lovely. I like that idea actually about prepped bait. That is a nice idea. Something Matt could do actually. Matt's just bought himself a new freezer for fishing. Quite a big one as well actually. Which I might have to.
You're just jealous because we ain't got the room for it.
Well, I reckon we could find room. Now, again, what I like to do is hold this swivel in my hand. Now, the swivel that I like to hold is the one that goes to the main line, and then just pull it taut as you go down. Now, pull the shock leader taut and just run the amnesia through my hands until I get to the impact shield, and I nip it just at the top of the impact shield with this is or snips, doesn't matter. Right, hook wise. No warning. I'll tell you what I'm going to do actually. I'm going to go for something a bit different. Because I want to try this, and if I can.
Menu. To navigate, press up or down arrow. T. Submenu. T.
Sorry, that's the computer. So when I use a computer, it talks to me in order for me to be able to use it. So if you hear a lady's voice that isn't my wife, don't worry.
Watch it.
Right, let's have a look. I've got 2 hooks here. I know the one I want. Ouch. One's a 4-0, the other one's a 5-0. That one's a 5-0. Okay, so for a pano, you would either put the same size hook on the top, or you could go slightly smaller. If I'm honest, when I'm doing a putty pano for a cod, I would have say a 5-0 tied on, and I'll have a 4-0 running free. And you can actually buy them where the eye is offset, so it sits flat on the line when you wrap it around after baiting up. But I really want to try this. So I've got a 5-0 hook here, which I am going to thread on and not tie on. Like so. And then the next hook I'm going to put on excuse me, is a 1-0. I'm going to tie this one on. And the reason being is at the moment we've got some massive whiting. There's bass being caught, and there is thornback grey being caught, and there's cod being caught. And what we've learned is that the big whiting get taken on fish bait, sand eels and mackerels, whereas the little tiny pin whiting seem to get caught on the worm. And what I'm thinking is, if I tie this little 1-0 on, a little bit of worm, and just set that 5-0 hook up from it, if I catch a little whiting and leave it out there as a live bait rig, you never know, might get something come along and nabbing. So it's worth a go. And if I go Thursday, I'll give it a go, I reckon. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, So I know you can actually get live bait hooks and so on, and they arrow dite them on and things like that. But this may work. Now, when you're tying on a polypeno, especially if you're visually impaired or anything, make sure that that bottom hook that you thread on is all the way down there when you're pulling your hand on this line, because you do not want one of those big ones coming into you. Put the hook away, hook them down, and that is job done. Down. So I'm thinking, measure that up. 1, 2, 3. That will need to come up just a little bit more. We want to sit about there. 1, 2, 3, like so. And I can actually move that up a tiny bit more if I wanted to, but I reckon a little worm on here, worm bait, catch a whiting on that, and then a cod or a bass could come along and get nailed as he opens his big mouth, and that's a lot. That might work. Worth a go. So, and this is how the polypeno works for all those that don't know. You've got your weight on this side, clip it down, so it's all streamlined when you cast out. Your hooks go underneath the impact shield. Now you always want to make sure your hooks are slightly higher than the impact shield, as you won't get the tension for it to hook down. And then when you cast out and it hits water, hooks pop off, and these are out here fishing. And then your aim is to catch a fish heavier than the weight that you're using, which hopefully you will catch a fish that's heavier than 5-6 ounces. And then the weight of the fish will counteract the, well, that felt weird. Will counteract the weight of the actual lead, pulling it up high out of the way, so then your weight is away from any snags. I absolutely love this rig. It's the rig that I used when I caught my 13.5-pound codfish in the Bristol Channel, which was a cracking fish. Not one I really mentioned like that, to be fair. Yeah, that's the rig that I that I use, and yeah, absolutely love that. And those are probably my two favourite rigs. If I'm boat fishing, I do like the Running Ledger. I think it's a good rig for the boat because you can have a nice long trace. And it's quite easy to manage from a boat as long as you let your line go down off the edge nice and slowly and not cast out. Comment, Luke?
I'll tell you when there is.
Because she's on it. She's on it. If anybody watches this at a later date and you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe and give us a like, because that would be awesome. We are trying our best to get to 1,000 subscribers this year. So I'm going to give myself a year to try and, well, I'm going to give myself a lot longer than a year, obviously, but it would be nice to get it this year. So just got to keep going, keep building the channel. And I know the channel started about 5-6 years ago when I released the first 2 videos, but it was really difficult then because I was doing it all on my own, and I didn't really have the support that I've got now with Jen, Matt, and other family members as well. So there's a lot more support, so it's a lot easier to do these videos, and Jen's happy to take me out. Me and Matt have a great time. Matt's helped me a lot, so thanks, Matt. I know you're watching and everything, so thanks, mate. I couldn't do it without you, to be fair, you and Jen. So yeah, we've got some nice plans that we want Thornback Ray this year. We do want a big conger. I want a big conger. Matt doesn't. Bass. We're going to try and get some nice bass on soft plastics, plugs, and so on, but also bait fishing as well. So bass is the main one. We would like to do a nice catch and cook with bass as well. This year I'm going to be 40. I know, I look so young. I do look young. Don't listen to her, guys. She doesn't know anything. Yeah, so this year I'm going to turn 40, so I really, really, really want to catch a blue shark. I really want to go out and catch a blue shark because my vision is less than a 5p piece worth, and it's going to go. That will go. Well, next couple of years.
What?
My vision, that 5p piece worth that we got there. That excuse me. On when they did the charts at the opticians, it's 1% of vision. That's all I've got.
Natalia, just before Natalia.
Yeah, so Natalia's 3, and I've lost 4% since you. But then saying that those operations went wrong, so I don't really know. But yeah, I've got 1% left. That's how they rate it. So I've got 1% left, and that will go in the next couple of years. And I would like to see if a blue shark is as blue as what it used to look like to me on the TV. So my plan is celebrate the 40th, go out after a blue shark, which would be a lovely way of celebrating it on a charter boat, not on my kayak or anything like that. So yeah, that would be good fun. Would love to catch a smoothhound, and they had a really good year of smoothhounds down this way last year. So hopefully smoothhounds, and well, black bream. I want to get back out on the boat with Stuart Pike, where I went out with him on the 11th of August last year for the first time ever. Caught my first ungulate ray, 10#6. Cracking fish. Cracking day out. That was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I would like to get back out with Stuart, see if I can better that ungulate and catch some more black bream, because they were lovely to catch and good fighting fish. First time I've ever caught black bream was last year. We had big ones, really good sizes, and I just didn't expect them to fight the way that they did. We got out fishing, and I was the first one to catch a fish, and if you don't include the mackerel for the bait. And I said to Stuart on the way out, I was like, what's the chance of bass? And he was like, you never know, but unlikely. It's not really a bass mark, it was just a black bream mark. And then I hooked into a black bream, and my rod went mental. And I thought it was a bass, and I kept quiet because I thought, you know. And it was a black bream, so I'm glad I did keep quiet, like a right idiot. So yeah, get out with him because that'd be great fun. And Matt and I want to go down to the River Foy. We hired a boat out there, and I think we were unlucky. We caught 4 different species. We had mackerel, scab, dogfish, and bullace. That was our first time out, so it was kind of like trying to find where we can fish. It was a very hot, clear, sunny day, but on one of the little drifts that we did, my rod went mental. As in, you would have thought somebody had grabbed over the line and was just messing around, just yanking it. Just never experienced anything like that before in my life. And then when I brought the line in and I felt it, because I lost that fish, because I think I bullied it too hard. I felt the line and it felt like it does when a dogfish wraps around it. And then later on we caught a bullace, so we were like, oh, must have been a big bullace. But then we have a really nice guy down here on the south coast called Ed, which is Ed's Bait. Great bait digger. The bait he gives us is absolute quality. Lugworm, ragworm, frozen, brilliant. Worth a look. Find him on Facebook. And I was talking to him about it, and he fishes. That's his neck of the woods. He fishes down there, and he said, gilthead bream. The way it fought, the way the line felt, even that's gilthead. So Matt and I want to go back down there for the day and see if we can get out there and get into some of those bullace again, which would be good. There's bass, there's pots down there, but there's giltheads, and we know where we were when we had that. And Matt actually lost one as well, saying that later on in the day. So that's definitely something that we might have to do a couple of times this year, all being well with the pandemic and everything that's going on. So that would be good. You okay? Cool. Yeah, so that'd be nice. So there's a lot of fish that we want to go after. Matt and I, because I don't drive because of my eyes and Matt doesn't drive at the moment, when we go fishing, if we're not local, we're going all night. We do a 24-hour stint. We take if it's going to be cold and wet, then we take a tent. If it's not, we just take our sleeping bags and hook up, that sounds dodgy. we just unroll them and make sure our heads are covered in the Beachbody and then just sleep in the beach buddy, which is actually really nice. And we like catch fish and we cook them on the beach, which is lovely to do. So we'll be doing that this year when it warms up. I would do it now. Matt doesn't want to, so actually I wouldn't do it now because it's like -1 outside. But yeah, the sooner we can get on and do that, the better. What are you huffing for? You alright? Do you want to write a comment? You can say, I love you, Blind Angler.
No.
Okay. So yeah, so we got a lot of things that we want to do, that's for sure. And in the mix of all of that, both our boys are part of Roving Rods Fishing Club down here in Plymouth, and they're doing really well. So we are going to look to support them wherever we can, competitions, league matches, everything like that, because they're really enjoying it. And with Zach and Corey both being 6, yeah, it's an important time, I think, for them to get out and learn and enjoy the outdoors, because I think they just get so wrapped up in tablets and TV and things like that. You know, it's good to get their kiddies out and get them playing. Well, not playing, but enjoying their fishing. You know, I think Corey and Zach have had a great time last year catching their mackerel and their whiting and then bringing it home and getting it cooked and everything and eating what they've done. I think that's quite special. And yeah, I want to do a lot more of that and possibly get that on video. But we'll have to wait for this pandemic to relax a little bit before that. So yeah, I've had quite a nice time tonight doing this live. If anybody has any questions, ask them. I will do another. I was talking to another chap called Richard, who is actually visually impaired as well, and he said it would be good to do a what's in your box type thing, like the tackle I use, the rods, reels, etc., and why I use them, which I will do maybe next week. We'll have to see how it goes with. I mean, I want to get out and do some fishing. You guys want to see fishing. I want to get out and fish. So I have to kind of judge it with how much lives I can or videos I can do while spending time with the family and so on. So if I can get it done next week, maybe this time Tuesday, Wednesday next week, I will. It could be quite interesting. Yeah, but hopefully Thursday I'll get out and do some fishing. If not Thursday, but then it'll be end of the week, beginning of next week with Matt. Hopefully weather dependent. So yeah, yeah, that'd be quite good fun. So get out, do some mackerel fishing. There's a crazy amount of mackerel in our water at the moment, more than there was in the summer. So I'm gonna get out, let the boys enjoy themselves catching the mackerel, and Matt and I can put up on bait. So we've got plenty of bait ready to rock and roll in the next few months, hopefully. I kind of feel like I'm jabbering on now.
Say goodbye.
Yes, I think I'll say goodnight to you fine people. Thank you for watching. Please please subscribe if you haven't, and also follow us on Facebook. Like and follow us on Facebook at The Blind Angler. And then whenever I go live, I always try to post on there and give everybody 24-hour notice that I'm going to go the next day. And then on that day, I always like to give the time as well that I'm looking to go live as well. So yeah, it's definitely worth getting on there and following us. But guys, thanks for joining us. Hope you found that useful. Any questions, either keep them back for next the next live Q&A, which will hopefully be next week. If not, ping me a message on Facebook and I'll happily answer them and help wherever I can, for sure. But until next time, guys, stay safe, and thanks for watching. Tight lines, guys.
Leaving menus. End stream button.